2026 is looking like one of the best years ever for isekai and fantasy anime. We're talking major sequels to fan-favorite shows finally returning alongside fresh new series that could become the next big thing. Whether you're into epic battles, clever protagonists, or emotionally driven storytelling, there's something here for you. I'm breaking down the top 10 most anticipated new and returning isekai and fantasy anime of 2026, ranked from number 10 all the way to number 1. And just so you know, the top 3 are on a completely different level. Let's jump right into the countdown.
俺はこれを知っている。5年いやもっと前。この世界は俺が前世でやり込んでた VR 対応オンラインゲームマジックワールドと全く同じなのだ。
Starting us off at number 10 is a brand new series for the underdog lovers. The Exiled Heavy Knight knows how to game the system. Introduces us to Elma, a young noble who is publicly humiliated and exiled after receiving the Heavy Knight class. A class everyone in this world thinks is absolute garbage. But there's a twist. Elma has memories of his past life playing this exact world as a video game, and he knows that the Heavy Knight is actually the most broken, overpowered class if you build it right. This isn't just a power fantasy, it's a tactical, min-maxing journey where Elma uses hidden game knowledge to outsmart fate. If you love stories where the weakest character proved the world wrong using pure strategy, keep your eyes on this one in early 2026. It's going to be a treat for the gamers.
もう一暴れするか。
かっこつけるなよせ。全滅を避けるべくしんがりを務め。
At number 9, we have a title that screams epic fantasy. I came a legend after my 10-year-long last stand. This isn't your typical isekai. It's a fantasy tale about grit and sacrifice. The story follows Rak, who stays behind in a collapsing dungeon to hold off a horde of Majin so his party can escape. Everyone assumes he died a hero, but Rak didn't die. He survived, fighting non-stop for 10 years, and in the process, he became absurdly powerful. When he finally returns to civilization, he finds a world that has moved on and idolized him as a legend. The anime is expected to air in 2026, focusing on his adjustment to peace and the realization that he is now stronger than almost anyone alive. If you like fear but want more visceral combat, keep this on your radar.
さと走れゴミ。
これが魔法の訓練。走れもう。
誰が休んでいいと言った。
あれ
筋肉痛を強制的に治した。
そんなのあり？
これくらいで値を上げてんじゃねえぞ。
嘘だろ。あれがふさとくんなのか。
Coming in at number 8, get ready for more cardio because the wrong way to use healing magic is back for Season 2. Season 1 followed Usato, an ordinary high schooler dragged into a fantasy world and forced into Captain Rose's brutal rescue team training, turning him into a combat healer who punches first and heals later. Now, with the 2026 release planned, Season 2 expands the story beyond the war arc as Usato and the group travel across nations to deliver letters and, of course, get pulled into bigger conflicts. Expect higher stakes, more of the Demon Lord's army, deeper world politics, and the same great mix of comedy, intense training, and surprisingly strong action.
もうすぐ夏休みのはずだった。これはなんだ？うわっ！うわー、異世界だー！あなた気象ランクトリプル A のスキルを持っているの？
真実を見る神の眼か。
響きの
Number 7 introduces another new contender that challenges class stereotype. The strongest job is apparently not hero or sage, but Appraiser. In a world where your job determines your destiny, the Appraiser class is looked down upon as a non-combat support role. Our protagonist Ayn decides to prove everyone wrong. A hook here is team building. Ayn uses his god-eye ability to see the hidden S-rank potential in people that society has rejected slaves, outcasts, and failures. He builds the ultimate party by polishing these diamonds in the rough. With the anime projected for a 2026 broadcast, this series is generating hype among fans of Shangri-La Frontier or Reincarnated, as a slime who loves seeing a weak protagonist build a powerhouse nation or team from scratch. At number 6 is Gate Tides of Conflict. The JSTF is deploying again, and the fragile peace in the special region is starting to crack. This continuation shifts the focus from inland battles to sea routes and port city, where control of trade and transport matters just as much as territory. Scheduled for 2026, the story leans more into politics and logistics. Itami and his squad face threats that can't be solved with firepower alone, balancing diplomacy, alliances, and civilian safety, while new factions and commanders reshape the board. The modern versus fantasy clash is still the core appeal, but now plays out through blockades, escorts, and high-stakes negotiations alongside the spectacle fans expect. If you wanted Gate to grow bigger instead of resetting, this looks like the natural next step.
せっかく剣に転生したんだ。いつか俺を装備してくれるやつを俺は強くしてやりたい。 私は黒猫族が虐げられてる今の状況を変えたい。師匠に借りた力ちゃんと使いこなせるようになりたい。だから絶対に
Cracking the top 5 is the return of the best sword dad and cat daughter duo in anime. Reincarnated as a sword, Season 2 is officially confirmed for 2026. Season 1 ended on a high note, with Fran and her sword teacher master growing stronger and surviving their first major dungeon explorations. Based on the light novels, Season 2 is going to ramp up the intensity. We are looking at the potential adaptation of the Beastmen Nation arcs and the continued mystery of the Black Cat tribe's evolution. What makes this series special is the wholesome bond between the protagonist and the sentient weapon mixed with genuinely brutal high-octane combat. If you love distinct power systems and emotional storytelling, this return is going to be a highlight of your year.
ターゲット確認。暗殺貴族トゥアハードの信念に基づき排除する。
Number 4 brings back the professional. The world's finest assassin returns for Season 2. Lu Tuathade, the legendary assassin reborn to kill a hero, has spent his childhood honing his skills. Season 1 established his devastating mix of modern assassination knowledge and fantasy magic, but now things are getting serious. With the release expected in 2026, we are likely moving into Lu's teenage years. The training wheels are off. Fans are hyped for the inevitable confrontation with the hero he was sent to kill, and the complex political webs Luck has to navigate as a noble. This show stands out because it treats isekai combat like a science it's calculated, cold, and incredibly satisfying to watch.
豆腐よりも柔らかメンタルのカズマさんが言っても選択力ないんですけどカズマの決心など打ち砕いてあげますよエクスプロージョン
Entering the top 3, we have the undisputed Kings and Queens of Comedy. Konosuba Season 4 is projected for a 2026 broadcast. After the events of Season 3, Kazuma's party is as dysfunctional and broke as ever, but that's exactly why we love them. Based on the light novels, we are approaching some fan-favorite arcs involving the nobility and potentially more run-ins with the Demon King's general. Konosuba remains the gold standard for isekai parody, balancing hilarious character interactions with surprisingly high-budget animation during the climax battle. If you need a break from serious war dramas, Kazuma, Aqua, Megaman, and Darkness are ready to ruin, save the world all over again.
幼女の皮をかぶった化け物です
The runner-up spot goes to the most ruthless soldier in anime history. Saga of Tanya the Evil Season 2 is finally locking onto a 2026 release window. It has been a grueling wait since the movie, but the war against Being X is far from over. We are rejoining the Empire surrounded by enemies on all sides. Season 2 is expected to adapt to the intense escalation of the World War, where Tanya's tactical genius is pushed to the absolute limit against the Rusi Federation and other powers. This is dark fantasy at its peak. Gritty military strategy, aerial magic dogfights, and a villain protagonist who refuses to bow to God. The hype for this return is stratospheric. And finally, at number 1, the grandfather of modern isekai returns to claim the throne. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 3 is scheduled for 2026. After the emotional roller coaster of Season 2, Rudius has settled into a new life, but novel readers know that peace is temporary. Season 3 is anticipated to cover some of the most critical turning points in the entire series. We are talking about massive world-building revelation, higher stakes, and the kind of character development that sets this show apart from everything else in the genre. It is visually stunning, emotionally heavy, and simply the most anticipated fantasy anime of the year. There is no doubt about it, Mushoku Tensei is the anime to beat in 2026. And there you have it, the top 10 most anticipated new and returning isekai and fantasy anime of 2026. Mushoku Tensei takes the crown for delivering the most emotionally resonant and beautifully crafted fantasy storytelling in the genre. But honestly, every entry on this list brings something special to the table. 2026 is going to be an incredible year for fans of fantasy and adventure. If you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more anime rankings and recommendations, and drop a comment letting me know which 2026 isekai or fantasy anime are you most hyped for. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.